that we're planning on doing a series every single week at this same time. So if you have someone that you are interested in, you love them enough, you want them to be a part of what we're doing, what we're sharing. I have felt the pressure upon me from the Lord to share this powerful information. Well, who am I? This is called To Tell the Truth. My name is Dr. Roz. I am the CEO of Dream to Life Productions and Ministry. I'm a wife, I'm a musician, I'm a videographer. Previously, I was president of a record company and did a lot of recording engineer. I have 2 doctorates. I'm not a medical doctor, but I do have a doctorate in theology and divinity. Previously, for many years, I was co-pastor of a ministry, Success in Christ Ministries, located here in Houston, Texas. By the way, I am in Houston, Texas. And I love to teach. I'm an inspirational, motivational teacher, trainer, whatever tag you put on it. I'm also a licensed insurance agent. I'm a network marketer. I'm the VP of communications with our company named Akana. And what makes me want to do what I'm doing tonight is that I'm a certified wellness coach. I have a certificate of completion that I have become certified as an Akanapreneur and a lifestyle consultant. And I've also completed all of the necessary requirements to be considered a certified wellness coach. So tonight's topic, we're going to talk about our blood pressure. Why is it that 70% of the time that the first sign of a heart disease or a sudden death is when people die? Not when they go to the doctor. When they go to the doctor, by that time, they're finding out that they already have something. And see, that burdens me, that disturbs me, especially being a minister in the body of Christ. We have preachers that preach heaven down, but then they go back in their dressing room or back into their office, and then they have a heart attack because they have given their all. The anointing has fallen upon their lives, but yet and still, because they don't know what's going on in their body, or they don't realize that we could make certain changes. See, about 1 in 5 heart attacks are silent. They call it the silent killer. And the damage is already done, but the person is not even aware of it. I see young people walking around because they look the picture of health on the outside, and they don't have a clue what's taking place in the cells of their body, or why is it? I mean, we think about a person like LeBron James' son, who just got drafted to the NBA, but there was a time that he had a heart attack in the middle of the floor at the middle of the game, not knowing what's going on. Jamie Foxx, there's so many names that we can list one after the other. And the thing that I understand, it's because of our diet. Yeah. See, it's DIE, and it's called the Standard American Diet, which really the initials stand for SAD. And it's a sad situation. So I want to share some truths that I've learned and that I've been exposed to, and that I'm constantly reading and listening and researching and even trying myself. Now, you did hear me say I'm not a medical doctor. So I'm going to always lean towards some people that are wellness experts and what they have to say about it. So check out this video as we get started.
2/3 of adults are now overweight or obese, and we have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country. There's no way we can sustain the current style of care with the epidemic that we're creating with our diet and lifestyle choices.
The diabetes, the arthritis, the heart disease, the dementia, the obesity, the cancers are affecting about 70% of deaths. All the data is that those 70% of deaths and morbidity are largely lifestyle related and preventable.
Most kids by age 10 in the U.S. already have fatty streaks in their arteries, the first stage of atherosclerosis leading to heart attacks, strokes.
Here in American medicine, we operate from the disease model. We are in the business of treating sick people. We are not in the business of trying to prevent people from becoming sick.
When you look at chronic disease risk, all the things that we walk around worrying about, actually dietary choices trump smoking when it comes to those risks.
If I could deliver one message to the researchers who are looking for the cause of diabetes and the cause of clogged arteries and the cause of high blood pressure and the cause of obesity, I would tell them the answer's in 3 words. It's the food. It's what Americans are eating.
Now, isn't that amazing? These are wellness experts that are saying this. One doctor, he said out of his own mouth, basically he pretty much said that he went to medical school not to prevent anybody from being sick, but just to treat sickness. And have you noticed that when you go to the doctor, they ask you what's wrong? They ask you where are you hurting? They ask you what do you have? They show you certain things that you already have. What don't I need to know before I have it? I never shall forget, my husband went to the doctor once. He had never seen this doctor before in his life. And his blood pressure was up. Well, number one, he had been sitting there for hours. You know, they had him waiting and waiting, and he was ready to go back to work. And then he came out and she says, I have high blood pressure, so she gave me a prescription. I said, did she ask you what you eat? Did she ask you, do you exercise? Did she ask you any questions about you? She's never seen you before. So 90% of heart disease is preventable, ladies and gentlemen. But we've got to understand, what's this thing about blood pressure? What's it all about?
Coronary artery disease, or atherosclerosis, is caused by plaque buildup along the inner walls of the coronary arteries, the major blood vessels that supply the heart with blood, oxygen, and nutrients. Plaque consists of fatty materials in the blood that can decrease blood flow to the heart, often resulting in a heart attack. Risk factors include family history, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and lifestyle
Dr. Roz, I'm
choices
not
like
hearing.
smoking, alcohol consumption, and lack of exercise. You can reduce your risk by
I'm not
pursuing a
hearing
healthy
anything.
lifestyle or
The videos.
Does anybody else not hear it?
I hear it.
Oh,
You have to stay on the
I
video.
hear it.
You got to stay on the video screen to hear it.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Okay.
Coronary artery disease, or atherosclerosis, is caused by plaque buildup along the inner walls of the coronary arteries, the major blood vessels that supply the heart with blood, oxygen, and nutrients. Plaque consists of fatty materials in the blood that can decrease blood flow to the heart, often resulting in a heart attack. Risk factors include family history, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and lifestyle choices like smoking, alcohol consumption, and lack of exercise. You can reduce your risk by pursuing a healthy lifestyle or by taking medications.
So here's the thing about blood pressure. I think we need to understand blood pressure. Don't just tell me I have it, because there are definitely some foods that I can start eating that can increase my chances of having high blood pressure. There are foods that I've learned through my certification. And with that being said, there are also certain foods that would work to cleanse those arteries that she was just talking about, to show that basically what blood pressure is that your arteries build up with plaque build up on the walls, preventing the blood flow. So then, Dr. Ross, is there something I can do about it? Absolutely.
If you're worried about heart attacks and strokes, then it's important to make sure your arteries are healthy and not at risk of getting blocked. Although some people think heart disease is simply genetic, there are many studies which show that the foods we eat play a huge role in the health of our arteries. Plus, uncover how one simple food switch could dramatically improve the health of your arteries.
So we can make some changes, guys. There are things that we can do, little changes that we can make, even if it's just one change. I'm saying to you tonight, if you watch this and you listen to the things I'm going to share with you, I'm challenging you not to change your whole diet necessarily. If you do, that's fantastic. But if you can change one thing, if you can add one thing, if one thing opens up your thought process to make a change, to move you forward to a better lifestyle away from medication, then I've done what I wanted to do. So tonight we're going to talk about, I planned on talking about the worst and the best. So next week we'll have to talk about the best, because I got kind of really involved in this and started doing more than I planned on doing. So tonight we're going to talk about some of the worst foods for blood pressure. Some of the worst foods for blood pressure. So, and they're not in a particular order. They're all the worst foods for blood pressure. First, we're talking about processed foods or cured meats. Now, I bet many of you have heard that terminology, processed foods or cured meats. What is a processed food? The term processed food really applies to any food that has been altered in any way prior to sale or consumption. Now, granted, we're going to look at everything in a open mind. Some things are processed just a little bit. So that's not really what we got to focus on. It's those things that are processed, mediumly processed or ultra processed. Because we don't even understand, where did this processing start? Because it hasn't always been that way. I mean, listen, guys, our grandparents and our great-grandparents used to have their food in the backyard. They grew their fruits and their vegetables and everything. They had everything right there. They raised their cows and their chickens. It's when we come into this era that we live in, especially us as baby boomers. I'm a baby boomer. Much of our food that was processed, it started during World War II, when they were trying to put the meals together for the soldiers. And then the grocery industry, to this day, has made it a permanent wartime economy. We're still in this battle. And the agricultural business sector just began to just completely blow up. And decades later, here we are with this processed food that has elevated from one level to the next level. So when we're talking about processed foods, do you understand that we live in an industrialized country? We live in a technicalized country. I mean, we have the ability to do anything, but over 50% of the calories come from ultra processed foods. There's so many studies. I mean, everything I've studied, everything you can go and study, you can go and look it up yourself. Study after study links overconsumption of ultra processed foods. Like what? The stuff we like. Listen, don't shoot the messenger tonight. I'm gonna hit you with some stuff, and I'm gonna expose some things that I hope will be eye openers, because this is not but what we do some of the time. This is what we do most of the time. When I was going through my certification, our Dr. Eric Prince, who is our naturopathic doctor, who trained us in our certification as wellness coaches, constantly says, when you think about what you're doing and how often you do it, that's what's causing us to the disease. Not because you did it one time in a month, no, because we did multiple things throughout the course of our life, and we've been doing it since we were kids. Ultra processed foods, breakfast cereal, soft drinks, hot dogs, French fries, frozen pizza, snack and chips. In the course of a day, some of us eat all of that. And that's what's causing the diseases, the type 2 diabetes, the heart disease, colorectal. Listen, on and on, one disease after the other. But I'm sorry, our grandparents didn't have all this stuff. But because we're hooked on it. And then we've got more heavily processed foods that are in boxes and packages and jars. Everything that's processed is in one of those forms. And guess where you find it? In the middle of the store. I was listening to a lady just the other day, Dr. Frida, and she said, the best way you should shop is you should, number one, don't go shopping when you're hungry. And number two, when you go to the grocery store, walk in the door closest to the produce section. Because when you walk in the middle of that store, guess what? You walk smack dab into everything that we shouldn't have. So when we think about processed foods, we think about our canned foods. I was raised up with all the canned foods, $3, $4, $4, $4. Sometimes they put them on special, $5 for $1. They made it easy. Do you understand? This has been intentional, guys. They made it easy for us to get them. And we live in an era, or a society, should I say, that we love sweet. So, I mean, things like canned peaches with all the corn syrup-based juice in them. And that's the only way we've wanted it. But we didn't realize what it was causing in our lives. Even in the cans themselves. There's this thing called BPA, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But that's a chemical found in the metal of some food cans that have been linked to a lot of serious health problems. And again, I'm not talking about you go get a can of peaches and all of a sudden you've got this, but how many times have you been eating the peaches and the corn and the vegetables in the cans in your lifetime? And when you think about during your whole lifetime, that BPA over time is causing serious problems.
A few slices of turkey or ham in a sandwich can seem like a healthy lunch, but many health experts warn that cured meats are some of the worst for heart health. But why is this? Firstly, cured meats tend to be extremely high in sodium, which you now know can have a negative impact on your blood pressure and arteries. The American Heart Association says that 6 thin slices of deli meat can contain half the daily recommended level of sodium. Plus, one hot dog contains approximately 20% of the recommended daily intake, and that's without the sauce and the bread. Secondly, cured meats normally contain chemical preservatives. The issue with this is that it creates an inflammatory response within the body. When this occurs, blockages and plaques start to build up on the arterial wall. One particular preservative used in cured meats is sodium nitrate. Researchers who analysed data from 1988 to 1994, taken from the 3rd National Health and Examination Survey, concluded that nitrates in the form of a preservative leads to hypertension.
So I don't want to just talk about and hit you with all the bad stuff, okay? I don't want to just hit you tonight with all the stuff you can no longer have, because I know some of you are already ready to cut it off and say, look, I'm out of here, because you done told me I can't have my cereal, you done told me I can't have all these canned goods that are on sale, you done told me I can't walk down the middle of the aisle. Well, I'm going to tell you what you can have. I'm going to share with you some alternatives that maybe you don't even realize. It is easy, it is a lot easier than we realize to eat more healthy than we have been. So instead of eating the processed foods, why don't we make our own oatmeal? I mean, there's so many ways to find recipes on the internet that you can begin to change certain things. You can make your own spaghetti sauce. You can get plain yogurt and add some fruit to it if you want the flavored yogurt without all the sugar. You can make your own trail mix bars. I mean, so that, you know, I'm guilty of that because I gotta have something walking with me and riding with me so I won't tiptoe over there to get something I shouldn't get. You can even make your own stock. Instead of getting the canned soup, just, you know, put the chicken in there and let it boil and save that stock and freeze it for later and use it for your soup. And then you can take the chicken that you normally get, that you normally bake, that you normally cook, or the ham and the roast, and chop it up for your deli meats instead of going to the store and going in that section with all those deli meats. And then there's an app called Yuka. I went to Yuka, Y-U-K-A. Somebody put that in the chat for everybody so they can go and get that app, Y-U-K-A. This is from the Yuka app. In the Yuka app, you can put a particular item that you're in the store, and you can actually scan that item, and it'll show you whether that item is excellent, good, poor, or absolutely bad. Now, I just went there because, okay, maybe you want your chips, or maybe you love your cereal, or maybe you love your crackers. So I just went there and pulled up those 3 items. I only chose the ones that were excellent. So you see, there's so many other brands of chips. And let me tell you guys, they're not so high priced that you're out of your price rate. Now, some things tend to be a little more costly than if you were to go and get your Lay's and your Frito-Lay and all of that. But when you weigh the choice between being healthy and not being healthy, when you weigh the choice between, in the long run, being in a position where you don't have to take medication anymore because now your blood pressure has been regulated because you're not filling up with all of these processed foods. It's clogging up your arteries. He showed you the picture. That's what's happening. The plaque is building up. Then it makes sense. It makes sense for me to go ahead and get some grain-free tortilla chips if I want my chips, or my Raisin Bran Crunch. Look there, it's Kellogg's. It's excellent. Or some Nutri-Thins crackers, or some multigrain baked crackers. But some of the worst foods are the high sodium snacks. Yeah, and no one eats just one. Let's just be real. That commercial meant what it said. Why? Why does no one just eat just one? because the snacks are high in calories. And that's what's causing the fat content. They're high in unhealthy fats. They've been fried in oils that are high in unhealthy fats that's raising the cholesterol. They're high in sodium, seasoned with salt. They're low in nutrients, little or no nutritional value. They have a high glycemic index. That's what's causing the spike in our blood sugar. And then they put additives and preservatives to enhance the taste, to prolong the shelf life, and to make us crave for another bag. It's intentional. And then they have an acrylamide formation. When the potatoes or other starchy foods are fried at high temperatures, they form acrylamide, a potentially harmful substance that's been linked to cancer in animal studies. And then I told you, we just don't eat just one. It makes us overeat. How many bags of chips have you eaten in your lifetime? No wonder we have blood pressure in our communities. So we got to get rid of these things that are the worst. And we need to let somebody into the room. We've got to make sure that we rid ourselves of the worst products. Now let's talk about dairy products. Now, understand you were raised on your milk. I got that. And dairy products can be nutritious, and they can provide us with some calcium and some vitamin D and some protein. But some dairy products are causing health concerns. I've seen people completely get off dairy, and all of a sudden they no longer have allergies. See, because what we don't know, we are the only species that drinks the milk from another species. What am I saying? The calf drinks milk from the cow. We're humans and we drink the milk from our mother's breasts. So then why are we drinking milk from the cow? That's not where we get it from. Once we're through with our mother's breast, guess what? That should be it. It's because when we drink it from the cow, now we're getting the sodium content that they're putting into the bottles, and we're getting the full fatness of the dairy, such as whole milk, cream, and certain cheeses. We're getting the lactose intolerance that's causing us to have gastrointestinal discomfort. And we're wondering why we're bloated. We're wondering why we're going through. We're wondering why we're breaking out. And then some people even have individual sensitivities that's causing the allergies, like I said before. And guess what? As soon as they stop dairy, the allergy disappears. It's like it never was there. What about sugary drinks? Oh my God. You know what? When I was coming up, it was a 12-ounce can. Now, if you go to the store, the 12-ounce can only be found by just a few different flavors, and it's at the very top of the shelf. Because why? They want you to get the 16-ounce and the 20-ounce, and they'll put the 20-ounce on sale, and they're killing us. They're killing us because now we don't recognize every time we drink it, we want another one. We want another one. Why? Because it's high in calories. Due to the fat content, that's what's causing the weight gain. Hello, that's causing unhealthy fats to make these sugary drinks fried in oils high in unhealthy fats, high in sodium, low in nutrients, glycemic index again. All these sugary drinks are causing us to have problems. But I know some of you say, but I just do these drinks that say low or non. Well, check this out.
There appears to be no benefit in choosing artificially sweetened drinks over sugary beverages for heart health. One study followed 2,564 individuals for 10 years. It showed those who drank diet soda daily increased their risk of stroke by 48% and vascular disorders by 61%, compared to those who did not drink diet soda. But why is this? Scientists have found that artificial sweeteners have negative metabolic effects, much the same as sugar. They can cause weight gain, affect blood sugar, impact the health of the gut, and can cause abnormally high levels of insulin. All of these can increase inflammation and therefore the risk of blocked arteries. Studies show people who consume the most of these sweeteners double their risk of diabetes and abnormal blood lipids. both huge warning signs of arterial problems. Now we're about to reveal how one type of fat can significantly increase the risk of blocked arteries.
So every time you hear that word blocked artery, remember what I said earlier. Remember what we saw earlier. It's the blocked artery that's causing the high blood pressure. So even if you're drinking what you call a diet drink, that's what he was talking about, diet drinks. Because people tell me, well, all I drink is diet. But I told you, I'm not just going to talk about the problem. I'm going to give you some alternatives for you to think about, for you to begin to incorporate into your lifestyle. First and foremost, water. Don't shoot the messenger. Water. We can't have enough water. But if you're that person that says, yeah, okay, I want water, but I got to have something else. Okay, well, look at some choices. Herbal tea, coconut water, sparkling water, mushroom coffee, almond milk, kombucha. I think I spelled it wrong. It's K-O-M. Juice that you make yourself, and then green tea. All of these are alternatives, ladies and gentlemen, for us to get ourselves in a better position so that we are not victims and we're victors. Some of the worst foods for blood pressure are commercially baked goods. Oh yeah, you go, and where are they located? In the front of the store. Where are they located? On your way to the checkout counter. They're just tempting us. And all of these commercially baked goods are high in sugar, high in unhealthy fats. See, I need you to think about this the next time you pass through that section. Before you reach and get it, I need you to think. I need you to hear my voice in the back of your head saying, ooh, sugar, unhealthy fats, refined flour. It has no fiber, no vitamins, no minerals. It's going to cause my blood sugar to spike. Additives that make me want not one cookie, not one muffin, but I'm going to eat the whole thing. High in calories, low in essential nutrients, lack of fiber, and then high in sodium. Can I have an alternative? Sugar, white sugar is not the only way to sweeten things. I made some brownies the other day. I made them with chickpeas. And I used some of the items that you see on this screen. Coconut sugar and maple syrup were in there, and some other things were in there. You would not have known that they were brownies. But here's some other alternatives for sugar other than raw sugar: bananas, applesauce, coconut sugar, dates, honey, agave nectar, maple syrup, molasses, date sugar, and yacon syrup. Now, I don't know what yacon syrup is. I just looked this up and saw that these were some other alternatives. And I went, wow, I got to check that one out and try it for myself. Now, I know we are raised up in a society, we want everything fast. When I came up, if you wanted to rewarm some food, you had to turn the oven on. If you want to heat it up. But we live in a microwave society. And I had an aunt that she said to me, I don't like that microwave. It's something about that. It's something about those waves. And when I think about all of the different diseases, all of the problems with fibroids, tumors, and so many things with cancer and breast cancer that has increased in our society. And when we look back and think about how long this has been happening, and when we started focusing on doing everything with a microwave, the dates kind of connect. See, microwave food, number one, for it to be microwavable, it's high in sodium and preservatives. It has unhealthy fats. It definitely is void of the nutrients. And it has refined ingredients like refined grains that are low in nutrients. What about the microwave popcorn? Oh, we love it. We're sitting around, we're watching the game, we're watching the playoffs, or we're just having a good time on the holidays in the evening, and we just pop it in there and hear it pop, and we're ready to go. But that microwave popcorn, I bought my last one once I found this out. It has chemical additives. It has something, a chemical that's in the artificial butter flavoring. It's got this long word, acid, that's a chemical found in the lining of the microwave bag. Is this going to make you look at this differently? Or is this going to make you at least look at that package a different way? You may not stop using it, but if it makes you just a little more intentional, then guess what? We've done our job.
Trans fats are also known as hydrogenated oils. These have been banned in the US and other Western countries, but they're still finding their way into certain foods. This is because food manufacturers are still allowed to use them if it's less than 0.5 of a gram per serving. However, the amount of trans fat can build up in the body, and we suggest avoiding any food that contains them. Studies showed that for every 2% of calories from trans fat consumed daily, the risk of heart disease rises by 23%. Trans fats lower your protective HDL cholesterol while raising LDL bad cholesterol, not good for heart disease. They also create the smaller, dense type of LDL cholesterol. Some experts now claim this is the most dangerous type for blocked arteries.
Blocked arteries, trans fat, causing the blocked arteries. This is all directly related to high blood pressure. What's causing the high blood pressure? I don't want you getting a diagnosis, and you may already been diagnosed, but guess what? You can reverse it. I want you to believe when you leave here tonight that you can reverse this thing. You can start incorporating some things into your daily lifestyle, and you can have some alternatives. Even if you want your popcorn, get you an air popper. Go back to the old days and pop it on the stove and have fun with it. And when I went to Yucca, and even Yucca listed some things that I only listed the excellent. So if you go to the Yucca app, Y-U-K-A, put it back in the chat again in case somebody just came on and they don't see that Yucca app. I want everybody to get the Yucca app, Y-U-K-A. And put that on your phone, and when you go to the grocery store, use the scanner and find out, is this something I really should be getting? Is it excellent? Is it good? Is it poor? Or is it bad? You'll be surprised at some of the very things that you love, that you get all the time are considered bad or poor. But if I have an alternative that's excellent or good, can't I at least try it? What about condiments? Yeah, some people put ketchup on everything. Hot sauce on everything. Just think about that. Think about the calories, think about the sugar content, the sodium content, the fat content. Some people can't have a burger unless it's sloppy with mayonnaise dripping on the side. And I'm not saying, please don't shoot the messenger. I'm not trying to say it's so bad that you're doing it, but it's bad that we do it in ignorance. To become knowledgeable of this, then all of a sudden, maybe I don't put it all over on both sides. I'll just put it on one side until I wean myself away from it completely. Just look at the number of calories. I mean, all the way down the list, condiment calorie guide. And you can email, you can go and Google this information and find out this information. We should be using fresh herbs, spices, ingredients like yogurt or avocado for dressings in our spreads. There are other ways to get the same results. They even have vegan dressings, vegan ranch dressings, vegan Italian, or even the vinaigrettes. I mean, there's so many other options that we've got to recognize, because that's my thing. I just want to know, do I have another option? Now, there was a period of time when I was in the ministry, this is what we had every single day. We had top ramen noodles, because you can get them $5. We had a big group of people, and you get them $5 for $1. And then you can get those whole boxes that have all the whole chicken and the creamy chicken, not realizing that was the period in my life that I began to blow up. Because the noodles, the instant rice, because you don't want to wait. You don't want to cook it as long. You want it fast, fast, fast. We're in a hurry. We're in a rush. We're in a rush, killing ourselves. There's no nutritional value, no fiber, no vitamins, no minerals, high glycemic index. We're going to talk about diabetes on one of these sessions, but that's raising our sugar levels. We've got all these added ingredients that make it a certain color and make it a certain flavor. They got a little pouch in there that you put to do your flavor, and it's got all these added ingredients, and they've done some special things to it to give us the texture and the taste, so that it's softer, because in the box it's hard. So now you can take something hard like that, put it in some water, add some flavoring to it, and all of a sudden, voila, now you got your rice-a-roni. And I love rice-a-roni. You ask my husband, I love rice-a-roni. But am I going to start eating it every single day? If I had been eating it every day, guess what? We're going to lessen what we do. Even the processing and the sustainability. How is it that something can stay on the shelf as long as it does? Because they have done things to the process and the packaging. And that even can have environmental implications due to the energy use and waste generation. Instant noodles, there they are, they're the top ramen noodles. Look at that, look at that. Oh my God. Do you see the sodium content? Some of those brands have over 1,000+ milligrams of sodium just for one pack. And I've had times I know I put 2 packs together. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm right here with you. Do you understand? Nutrient deficient, primarily refined wheat flour, calorie dense, providing empty calories. You know what empty calories means? You're getting calories and you're still hungry. I mean, you still want more. High in unhealthy fats, additives and preservatives, MSG. I know you've heard that word, MSG, high glycemic index. I seem to be repeating myself over and over again a little bit here. And even the packaging, potential contaminants in the packaging, because it can leach into the food. That package has been sitting there. They just reach in the storage room and pull out some more, and you think they just freshly put it out there, but they've had that in the storage room for a minute.
If you're in a pinch, instant noodles might seem like the perfect fix. Pour some boiling water on them and you're good to go. But what effect do they have on the health of your arteries? Well, one packet of instant noodle contains 1,722 milligrams of sodium. This is more than half of the daily recommended amount. And any cardiologist worth their salt would advise their patients to ensure they're not over-consuming sodium. Having high amounts of salt each day is associated with elevated blood pressure. This increases the risk of developing coronary artery disease. Having hypertension causes more pressure against the artery walls. Over time, this added force can damage arteries, leading to bleeds and also blockages. One study that was conducted over 10 to 15 years found that reducing sodium intake decreased the risk of a cardiovascular event by up to 30%. Furthermore, instant noodles contain an ingredient called monosodium glutamate, or MSG for short. This is a food additive that improves the taste of otherwise bland foods. Studies have associated extremely high MSG consumption to weight gain and increased blood pressure, both bad news for the health of our arteries and cardiovascular system. On top of this, instant noodles provide little nutrition, with low amounts of protein and fibre. These macronutrients help give you a feeling of fullness. With a low amount of these in your diet, you're more likely to overeat and become overweight. Plus, not eating enough fibre is associated with increased risk of heart disease.
Increased risk. I'm ready to stop this. I'm ready to not have an increased risk and move away from it. Listen, it's reversible. Hello, it's reversible. Hello, it's reversible. Let's change what we're looking at, and let's look at least change this. I'm gonna find some whole grain noodles. I'm gonna find me some shirataki. Yeah, there's a reason why other cultures are operating in a smaller size than we are. I'm just saying. Bean-based pasta, brown rice, vermicelli. Do you know that you can get noodles from spaghetti squash? I mean, the first time I saw that happen, I was like, wow, amazing. Soba noodles, zucchini. And All you gotta do is get you a spiralizer and just twist it, or get you, if you want to get an electric one, that's fine too. But it doesn't cost but a few dollars to get one that you can put in your hand, stick that zucchini in there, and just turn it into zoodles, and then put it in the skillet. And now you've got, oh my goodness, talk about some taste. Put some seasoning on it. Yeah, season it really well with your garlic powder and your paprika and your, whatever it is that you love in your seasoning, except for salt. And the thing is, we can't get away from this fast pace that we're living in. We just give me a frozen dinner, stick it in there. But what's wrong with that picture? It's a frozen dinner. It's high in sodium. Okay? It's got to be high in sodium to enhance the flavor and to preserve the shelf life. Think about it. I just want to give you a wake-up call. Think about it. A single meal can contain more than half the recommended daily sodium intake. Doesn't have any nutrients. Do you know that there are so many diseases like Parkinson, like Alzheimer, that are directly related to nutrients that are deficient in our body? Not because it's genetic, not because your mama had it and your grandmama had it, but because you're lacking a vitamin B or a vitamin A, and you're not getting it in our food. We're not getting it because we're using a frozen dinner that doesn't have any nutrients, doesn't have any fiber, doesn't have any vitamins or minerals. It's high in unhealthy fats. It's high in sugar content. It's got additives and preservatives that they're particularly putting in there to make it so colorful. I mean, look at that plate. Who wouldn't want it? Because it just, the greens are so green. The whites are so white. The yellows are so yellow. Artificial colors that, by the way, one of our sessions we're going to teach on things that are not even allowed in other countries, but they allow it in the United States. We're going to talk about that. That's going to be one of our sessions, because we're doing this every single week to give you content, to give you information that you can take home with you. Caloric density, that's what's causing the weight gain and the health issues. And then, here we go again, the packaging. Contaminants in the packaging that over time can leach into the food. What's our alternative? Make your meal at home. Listen, we got to go back to cooking. Okay, so you tell me, okay, you don't have time. You don't have time to cook. Okay, here's a suggestion. Can you cook maybe one day? My godmother used to do this. She would cook 3 different meals in one day. And then you can double up on the recipe and put the rest of them in the freezer. So you've got another meal. You've got your own frozen dinner, but you made it. What about sushi rolls with soy sauce? High in sodium. All you sushi lovers. Yeah, high sodium content in the soy sauce. Refined carbohydrates in the white rice, because that's usually what it's made with, white rice. It's a refined carb. Low fiber content, because the white rice lacks fiber. They've added some sugars. That's with the season, because it's seasoned with the sugar and the vinegar. High calorie ingredients with the cream cheese and the mayo and the fried ingredients, the tempura, sushi rolls, those kind. And then there's, some mercury content in the fish. And potential foodborne illnesses, because eating raw fish carries a risk of foodborne illnesses, including parasites and bacteria. Don't shoot the messenger. I know there's some sushi lovers out there, but think about it. Think about it the next time. Maybe you won't eat the whole plate. Maybe you just eat 1 or 2. Salad dressing. We were raised up on Catalina, Thousand Island, blue cheese, and ranch. That's the way we were raised. I thought the other dressings were for other people. And didn't realize that they taste good. But I just want you, here's a true story. I was doing a presentation at a senior facility, and we were talking to them about detoxing their body and doing some other things. And I shared with them that when we detox our body, one of the things that we do is we eat ranch. We don't eat ranch dressing. We eat dressings that we can see through. You know, all the ones that you can see through, not the ranch and those others. And so one of the ladies went to the store with her food stamps and she called back to her director and she asked her director, what was that dressing she said we're not supposed to eat? That blessed me. See, that's progress. That's what I'm here for. I want to see you progress because the normal salad dressings that we're accustomed to are high in unhealthy fats, like the creamy dressings, like the ranch, the blue cheese, and the Caesar. They're high in caloric content, but they're calorie dense because of the high fat content. So even if you're gonna use them, you're supposed to use the serving size. Do you know what the serving size is? 2 tablespoons. Who in the world puts 2 tablespoons of dressing of, let's just talk about ranch or Catalina French. Who puts 2 tablespoons on all that lettuce you got on your plate? No, probably 22 tablespoons. So then multiply the 22 times the 100 to 200 calories. Okay, over the top. Let me calm down. All right. High sodium content, preservatives and additives, artificial colorings, MSG, low nutrient density. We're adding empty calories to our meal. And so I need more and more and more. Oh, I know there's somebody here that you drown your salad with dressing. And you told folks, I had a salad today. You just messed it up with all the dressing. So what should we do? We should make our own homemade dressings. It's easy to make a homemade dressing with olive oil and vinegar and lemon juice and herbs. I mean, I just went on here and found one recipe. All I did was Google homemade salad dressing. And this one is just with olive oil and garlic powder, red wine vinegar if you choose, Dijon mustard. I mean, whatever you like. Now, I'm a believer in it's got to be something I like. It's got to be something that's tasty. I'm a believer in that. So I understand that. I'm not talking about something that tastes nasty or something you got to frown at. Then what about fermented foods? Now, a lot of some different cultures are really busy using these fermented foods, but not realizing that kimchi is high in sodium. If it's improperly fermented, it can lead to harmful bacteria growth. Soy sauce, I love it, high in sodium. Even some of them contain MSG. When you look it up on Yuka, you'll see some that you should get and some that you shouldn't get. Pickled vegetables. They're high in sodium, high acidity from vinegar can lead to your digestive issues. Sometimes we wonder why we feel the way we feel. The doctor said earlier, it's the food. Certain cheeses, natto has a strong smell and a taste. Certain cheeses, blue cheese, Roquefort, listen, tempeh, miso, high in sodium, can contain high levels of histamines. Let's make the changes. And here we go. You had a cold, and the first thing your mama told you, you got to drink you some chicken soup. We made Campbell's rich off of chicken noodle soup in the can. Every now and then, somebody would put a chicken in the pot and let the chicken make the broth and add that good vegetables to that soup and make that kind of soup. That's okay. But when we get it out of the can, high sodium, preservatives and additives, high in unhealthy fats, low nutrient density, BPA, you heard me say that before. The canned products are lined with a chemical that leaches into the food over time. How long has that can been sitting on the shelf? They just moved it from the back, brought it to the front. High sugar content, added sugars, especially the tomato-based ones. They got some hidden sugars, high fructose, corn syrup, or cane sugar. What's our alternative? I just said it. Drop the whole chicken in there, make your own stock, and then put it in the freezer for later when you're ready to make your soups. When we've been doing our juicing, we've been taking the pulp from the juices, put that in the freezer, use that in your soup to make your vegetable soup. And then we've got the canned beans and vegetables. Yeah, Jimmy Dean, Del Monte, Campbell's pork and bean, Bush. When's the last time you had a bowl of whipped bran chili? Well, that's too long. Canned beans and vegetables, high in sodium. The linings, I'm gonna say it over and over again. Am I repeating myself? Yes, because I'm repeating myself. Potential nutrient loss. And the high heat is needed to kill the bacteria that degrades what? The nutrients. You put it in the pot and then you heat it up. And now you don't even have anything. They've added sugars and preservatives. And listen, this is nothing new. This has been intentionally being done. And there are some alternatives. Oh, we got somebody. Yeah, there are some alternatives. Yes, they are. Fresh. That's the first alternative. Your beans and your fruits and your vegetables, fresh. But also frozen. Frozen, dried. Now, not dried with ham hocks in the pot. No. Okay, leave the ham hocks out. Use other things to season them. And if you're going to can them, you do the canning. I mean, if you want to go to that extent, then do home canning, because now you know what you're doing. You know what you're putting in it. Because you're not going to leave it there for 30 days or for 2 years and then sprout it. Nuts. Yeah. We tell people when we do our detox that you can have nuts, but they can't be salted or can't be roasted. We love those salted nuts, but they're high in sodium because they're coated with salt. And then they make you thirsty because they dehydrate you. So you're eating the salted nuts, it increases your thirst and your dehydration because the high salt intake leads to an increased thirst. And unfortunately, when we get that increased thirst, we don't usually grab water. Causes a potential weight gain because you can eat too many nuts and gain weight. And how many of you have had a can of nuts or a jar of nuts sitting there and you just keep eating? You just keep eating, and before you look at it, the whole thing is empty. You don't even think about it. It's mindless eating. You consume more than you even realize. And then all the additives and the preservatives that are there, unhealthy additives, such as artificial flavors and preservatives or unhealthy oils used in the roasting. And it gives an increased risk of hypertension, high blood pressure. Everything we're talking about tonight is related to high blood pressure. So what is the alternative? Raw or unsalted. I don't even give you lightly salted or low sodium. I don't even give you spiced or flavored, long as it's without salt. What about nutritional yeast coated? That's another option. Roasted chickpeas, for those of you that like the chickpeas, or pumpkin seeds, or sunflower seeds, or flax seeds. See, there's some other options. Here's the culprit, fast food. I ain't got time to cook for these kids tonight. We're gonna just go to McDonald's. We're going to Burger King. We're going to, Taco Bell. We're going to KC, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A. I mean, all of them, fast food. That's what's causing our children. We have a generation that is being raised on fast food because we're parents, we're working, we're busy, we don't have time. But I need you to take time. I need you to take time to think that we're causing cardiovascular problems at an early age. High cholesterol at an early age, diabetes at an early age, kidney damage at an early age, obesity at an early age, liver disease at an early age, cancer at an early age. And don't talk about the dentist, dental cavities, and even, you know what? Even depression. Because the molecular psychiatric journal showed that eating junk food raises the risk of depression. We've got young people depressed over little bitty stuff. And then skin problems, pimples and acne, and then that causes low self-esteem. All based on fast food.
In the United Kingdom, there are only 3 ingredients to McDonald's French fry: potatoes, oil, and salt. In the US, 19 ingredients. The rest of them are chemicals. Chemicals to keep the oil from foaming, chemicals to make the potato look better, chemicals to make a cheaper food be able to taste a little bit better. That's a huge industry.
Chemicals. Chemicals. Listen, I'm the French fry connoisseur. I am so grateful that I'm learning this, so now my car doesn't lead me over to McDonald's fries. Pizza. That's the weekend meal. I had a relative that lived me for, that's what they wanted every day, pizza. But it's high in saturated fats. It's increasing the cholesterol levels. One slice of plain cheese pizza has approximately 400 calories. So now who eats one slice? No, I want another slice. So eating 2 or 3, that multiplies that. And this will be higher when you add the rest of the toppings. Because we're not talking about the other toppings that are added to that, like pepperoni. So regularly consuming, what about it? We have pizza every single weekend or 2 or 3 times a week. So we're increasing our risk of cancer and bowel disease and stomach cancer and blood pressure, because of refined flour slows down your digestion and creates a sluggish metabolism.
When it comes to takeaway, pizza seems like the perfect option. Friday night hits and no one wants to make dinner, so why not order a pizza, right? This type of pizza is not only loaded with cured meat, but is highly processed with very little nutrition. This brings me to the problem with processed flour. When we eat food made from processed flour, whether it be noodles, bread or pizza, it dramatically spikes blood sugar. So what has this got to do with blocked arteries, you might be asking? Well, these types of processed carbohydrates contain a starch called amylopectin A. When we digest this starch, it's quickly converted to glucose or sugar in the blood. The glucose is then converted to triglycerides in the liver. Triglycerides enter the bloodstream as something called very low density lipoproteins, VLDL. Then through a series of steps leads to the formation of plaque buildup in the arteries. This explains why diabetics have such an increased risk of a heart attack or stroke, as diabetes is a condition where blood sugar is dangerously elevated. Further to this, white flour is highly addictive. Eating foods that are made from processed flour causes our brain to release feel-good hormones. This creates a feeling of pleasure. The brain then wants to get another hit of feel-good hormones, so it looks for more food to get the same hit again. Hence why it can be hard to stop eating these refined types of foods. A vicious cycle then begins with weight gain, high blood sugar, high triglycerides, and before you know it, your arteries are suffering.
Again, we don't need our arteries to suffer. So we need alternatives. I'm giving you alternatives. I'm not just going to talk about the problem, but I'm talking about solutions. Homemade pizza, whole grain or cauliflower crust. I'm going to tell you something. It tastes good. Flatbread or pita bread, zucchini or sweet potato-based crust, portobello mushroom pizza. Don't knock it till you try it. Mini pizzas on eggplant or bell pepper slices. Fried foods. We can't stop this until we talk about fried foods. Now, I'm almost done, but you know I got to talk about fried foods because we are a fried food culture. But the fried food that we've been raised on is high in trans fats, high in saturated fats, has high caloric density of none whatsoever, right? Because the oil absorbed during the frying is consuming too many of the calories regularly from fried foods can contribute to the weight gain and the obesity. Why are we all walking around obese? Based on, and your size, you say, oh, I just got to be who I am. But your size needs to be healthy based on the size of your body, the size of your bone structure. And a lot of times we say that just as an excuse because we don't want to make changes. We don't want to make one change. I told you at the beginning, if you leave here making one change, I've done my job. And potentially, these are carcinogens causing cancer. Why do we have more people being diagnosed with cancer on a daily basis? It is our food, ladies and gentlemen. We're having an impact on blood sugar levels because of our fried foods, the lack of nutrients, and digestive issues, because your body is having to work overtime just to digest it.
This fast food staple has been criticised for creating poor health. But does the science back this up? Let's look at the evidence. According to a study published in 2017 of nearly 4,500 adults, eating French fries more than twice weekly could double your risk of early death. Interestingly, the researchers concluded that it's the oils the potatoes were fried in that were increasing the health risk, and not the potatoes themselves. So what's the problem with the oils? High-end restaurants and fast food outlets alike use vegetable oils to cook their fries. These type of oils contain omega-6 fatty acids. When eaten in a whole food form, such as in nuts and seeds, they can be beneficial. But when exposed to light and very high temperatures, they become rancid and highly inflammatory in the body. Inflammation inside the arteries can lead to blockages. So if you're using vegetable oils at home or buying products that contain them, why not swap these out for extra virgin olive oil? This oil has been cold pressed and is stored in dark bottles so that the omega fatty acids don't go rancid.
So here's the thing is, guys, it's not the potato. We have a doctor that I follow, and he says we should eat things that have one word: potato, zucchini, apple, orange. See, but when it added all of the ingredients. So there are other ways to do it other than frying it. How about sauteing, broiling? Let's grill it. Let's air fry it. Let's bake it. Let's roast it. And then he said a key thing: it's not the potato, it's what the potato is being fried in. So let's change the oil. Let's change the oil. We got some alternatives. We got flaxseed oil and canola oil and avocado oil. And you do the research. Some are better than others, but all of these are better than vegetable oil. We got grapeseed oil and olive oil and sesame oil. And then last, we got alcohol. Now, excessive consumption. There's no studies that show, the studies that show are always talking about the excessive consumption. Beer, wine, spirits. Excessive drinking is associated with the health risks, the liver disease, the pancreatitis, and certain cancers. And certain liquors and certain combinations of mixers make the calories higher and contribute to weight gain if consumed in large quantities. It's those mixers that we add with the, like a strawberry daiquiri or the margarita. It's all of that sugar content that's added to that. And then ethanol toxicity. Ethanol, the type of alcohol found in alcoholic beverages, is toxic to the body in high amounts. That's why many of us have always thought that it was the alcoholics only that could have liver disease, but we found out that there is a non-alcoholic liver disease. So we do have alternatives: alcohol-free, kombucha, sparkling juices, mocktails, or just plain not drinking in excess. So now, as we leave this evening, I want my partner, one of my business partners, to share what has happened within her life as it relates to high blood pressure. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, she's an entrepreneur, she's an econopreneur, she's also an econo-lifer, and she's a certified wellness coach, and she's the owner of Two Chicks to Wellness, Miss Anna Gallagher. Miss Anna, I'm gonna stop sharing and let folks see you so you can share just a real quick testimony.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far. Tonight, I just want to do a quick talk on how I overcame my high blood pressure. You're looking at someone that's about 5 feet tall. And at the time, over 2 years ago, I was weighing 219 pounds. I had been on high blood pressure medicine for 35, almost 40 years. Some of it was 320 milligrams, taking 2 pills a day. That's a lot of milligrams going in someone's body. But then in January 14th of 2022, I discovered Flat Belly Lifestyle. I learned how to eat better, eat healthier. I went on the 21-day cleanse, and when that 21 days was up, I had lost 15 pounds. But I didn't stop there because I was feeling better, so I continued on. I started watching what I was eating. Now, mind you, there were times that I wasn't good at it, but I was good enough that within the next 6 to 7 months, I had lost a total of 45 pounds. And when that happened, I came off of high blood pressure medicine. Now, I have to be very honest with you. My PCP was not plant-based happy at all, period. So here is where it comes in. Sometimes you have to make decisions on your own for your own body. I'm not telling anybody to go against their doctor. I'm just telling you that sometimes you know how you feel and you know how the medicine is making you feel if you no longer need it. So there again, sometimes we have to make decisions or find another doctor. It's not always easy, but I do need to let you know that. So I made the decision to come off myself. I've continued to eat healthy. There again, I'm not always perfect at it, but I have not had to look back. I've kept the weight off. I fluctuate a little bit between 5 or 6 pounds, but when I step on the scales and I see that, I immediately get dizzy, because when you know better and you've accepted and learned knowledge, you need to use it and make it powerfully how you use it. With that being said, thank you. Back to you, Dr. Ross.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Anna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that concludes us tonight. I want to share with you what we're going to be talking about in the next few weeks. We're going to be doing this every week at the same place at the same time. So tonight we talked about the worst foods. Next Saturday, I'm going to talk about the 10 best foods. Saturday after that, we're going to be talking about why they don't want us to be healthy in the first place. We're going to talk about the banning, the things that have been banned in other countries, in Europe and in Asia, that we have access to here that's causing our health problems. And we're going to talk about cancer-causing foods. Because if we don't know what's causing things, then we can't stop or change or look for other alternatives. So thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to stop recording.